The following are properties, original work, creations, and ideas of Kelebogile Sehoa. The ElementRings brand includes, but is not limited to, the ElementRings Pty Ltd company, the ElementRings script, comic book or manga script, characters, movie script, ElementRings merchandise, and Negu brand. All rights claimed and reserved by Kelebogile Sehoa. Hello, and welcome back to ElementRings. Here's a quick recap before we continue with the story. Mr. Senganga and his assistants found out that the rock has human DNA and is made up of all 118 elements of the periodic table, which is impossible according to Tlotlo. Let's continue with the story to see what other crazy stuff take place. As Mr. Senganga and Kayla were cheering on Bonolo, Mero thinks to himself, "This is annoying. I have to put an end to it." Then the Department of Chemistry and Physics building starts rumbling. Everyone except Bonolo feels it and they start looking around. They then look at each other. Layla thinks, "That's weird. South Africa never has earthquakes." Tlotlo also thinks, "I have a bad feeling." Layla is still in disbelief. She walks over to the window to check what's going on outside. An earthquake in South Africa? That's a bit unusual. Layla thinks some more as she approaches the window. Mr. Senganga realizes that it's not an earthquake, but the rock. From the time they felt the earthquake till this very moment, Bonolo never stopped drilling. She was in her own world. Mr. Senganga then shouts, "Bonolo, stop! Bonolo! Bonolo!" Bonolo couldn't hear her superior over the loud sound of the drill. Mero then says, "Take this." The rock began to glow. The light became bigger. Mr. Senganga runs to Bonolo, who had her eyes closed due to the intensity of operating the drill. He pulls her away from the machine and asks, "Girl, are you not seeing this light?" Bonolo was speechless, and now the four of them were gawking at the rock as it got brighter. Tlotlo then says, "Get away from it. What if it explodes?" Right before Tlotlo finished her sentence, the rock released a shockwave that literally blew away the entire building. No part more than the lab in which Mr. Senganga and the girls were situated. A shock wave of energy circled the building. The circle then grew bigger and bigger until it covered a 500-meter circumference and 500 meters vertically. The building was now in shambles. Back at Botlhale's school, everyone begins to feel the effects of the shockwave. Immediately, the teachers inform their students to get under their desks. The kids in Botlhale's classroom were scared. Botlhale looks around, then thinks, "What was that?" Botlhale then realizes that his ring is glowing. He then asks himself, "Why is it glowing?" Immediately after asking this question, Botlhale has an inner mind or inner body experience. Within his consciousness, Botlhale sees somewhat of another plane. He wasn't in his class anymore. In this place, he saw 4 giant figures in the form of a silhouette. Of the 4, he recognizes one, the same one he dreamt about back at the hospital. The other 3 were new. These figures faced him, and only one moved towards him, with its hand stretching out, trying to grab him. It was the one he was familiar with. Somehow, Botlhale knew it was trying to say something, but he couldn't hear anything. After a while, he was back in class. At this point in time, the earthquake had stopped and all the children were evacuated to the outside of their classes. Since everyone panicked while vacating their classes, no one realized that Botlhale was unconscious, or rather, was on the floor, unable to move. Botlhale was petrified by what he had just experienced. Mandy looked around and noticed that Botlhale was nowhere to be seen. Her intuition made her rush back into the class, and she saw Botlhale laying on the floor, stiff as a log. "Someone help!" Mandy shouted. Kayla immediately runs into the class and sees Mandy trying to help Botlhale up. She too helps, and the two of them carry him outside, where they help him recover. Now Botlhale was in everyone's view, and they all realized that his eyes were a deep, dark black color. One of the caretakers came with a bucket of water and splashed Botlhale right in the face, and that helped him return to normal. As soon as Mandy sees Botlhale back to himself, she hugged him without any warning. "Mandy, be careful. You are aware that Botlhale is still wearing bandages, aren't you?" Miss Cassie said worryingly. Botlhale was still dazed, although he was back to his full self. But when he hears Miss Cassie's words, it makes him recover fully, and he immediately notices that he is completely healed. He tries to recall the past few minutes and he remembers everything. That's when he realized that he was transported into another dimension within himself. Botlhale then suddenly screams at the top of his lungs. He now scares everyone that was in the schoolyard. At this moment, Botlhale was realizing that everything that happened in his head was actually real. The scream caused Mandy to hug Botlhale tighter. She then says, "Botlhale, you have to relax. Calm down, please." Kayla sees how Botlhale starts to calm down after Mandy said those words. She gathers her thoughts and thinks, what is going on here? First the earthquake, now this. Kayla then says, "Mandy, take him to the tap and help him drink some water." Mandy does as she was instructed. As Mandy was helping Botlhale to the tap, Kayla looked around and saw how scared everyone was. She then shouts, "Okay, everyone, return to your classes." Thankfully, Kayla's efforts were not for naught, and everyone did as she commanded, including the other teachers. As her students were entering the class, Buleng looked at her other friends and asked, "Guys, is it just me, or did Botlhale's eyes seem all black when he screamed like a monster?" And that's the end of the 45th release. As you all heard, the being inside the rock was annoyed, so it released a shockwave that blew Mr. Singanga, the girls, and the building away. Botlhale's ring reacted to the shockwave and sent him on an inner body experience where he saw 4 shadows, with one coming after him. Don't forget to view, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for the support, and bye for now.